Hello. I am once again on forced medical leave by my employer. This is really aggravating. A new month, another punishment. Last month, they put me on medical leave because I have a shoulder injury, and they lied. The site management lied and said that there was nothing for me that I could do with my shoulder injury. Despite the fact that the week before that, my operations manager had already assigned me to work that I could do very well. I mean, it's not like this one doesn't work. It does. It's fine. Well, except for my thumb, which has arthritis from over grip, C grip. It's too big. It caused damage to the cartilage down here. And so sometimes my bones grind together in that area. But other than that, and every once in a great while, a little bit of misalignment or something in there, this arm is fine. It's just this one. I need a shoulder replacement, arthroplasty. So last month, my employer, because the instructions from the doctor said, give him light duty, and if you can't give him light duty, send him home. They sent me home with the excuse that there's nothing for me to do, despite the fact that I had already been doing something that I could do. And I complained, and by the end of the week, I'd received a call from the safety manager saying, you can come back to work, and we're paying you for the week you've been off. I went back to work, but they hadn't told the disability and leave service that had forced me into medical leave of absence with the lie by management. And here I am speaking of Amazon, okay, whom I no longer purchase from, because I'm tired of being treated as a customer that doesn't matter. So I'm no longer a customer. So they brought me back to work, but they didn't tell disability and leave. So I was still on leave, according to them. And it took me calling them and saying, hey, I'm no longer on leave. Why do you guys still have me marked as being on leave? Well, your leave is supposed to be lasting until middle of the next month. I said, I'm already off leave. Now, maybe I'm getting the month that this happened in wrong. It could have been April. But it was somewhere around the end of April, early June. And so they released me from leave. But unfortunately, there is a monthly thing where you can transfer to other departments. Unfortunately, I didn't know where to transfer to. And I tried to use that, but because I was on leave, I was not allowed to transfer. So now I'm in this 5S program, which is basically I go around doing various things to tidy up. So I retape the floors to mark off where different, situations are, like there's the green for walkways, and there's yellow and black striping for hazardous areas that you can't put anything within. And there's red for like fire extinguishers, and there's yellow, and there's blue, and there's white and red, and there are all these different colors, and I'm up and down walking on hard concrete with my bad feet, and they know it's bad because I've told them, and I had an accommodation request in per my podiatrist. Either I get custom shoes on my own and they provide toe caps because I work in a TSA facility, and it's a hazardous facility, so you have to have plastic protectors within the shoes, the toes. Instead of steel toed, it's composite toe, and so on and so forth. Or to provide me with a custom shoe, and that is part of Amazon policy, actually, the custom shoe part. So you go through this process. You get shoes from either Zappos or Grainger, and if they don't work out, you can try some others, and you keep on trying. And eventually, if your situation is, as far as your feet, is getting worse, and I have two medical conditions in my feet, calcaneal valgus and hyperflexible joints, that cause my feet to collapse. the arches to collapse, and for the spongy material under my heels to squish outward away from the bones. So it becomes increasingly unpleasant. And so they want you to try insoles, and I have custom insoles and have had custom insoles since 2022. And they are supposed to then, if these things are not working out, to provide custom shoes. But they make it difficult. You talk to people at HR and in management and in safety there, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, even though it's been posted multiple times that it's a policy that Amazon has. It's very difficult. It's as if they're trying to prevent people from taking advantage of that policy. So it's very aggravating. So yeah, so I managed to not be able to transfer because of them, and I managed to get back to work, and I'm doing taping. I'm down on my knees. I've got bad knees. I've had problems with my knees all my life, and my knees have gotten worse because of working at Amazon, partially because of the time when I was doing what was being called a non-con runner, which is I was pulling 6 feet tall by 2 feet wide by 4 feet wide, so 2 feet deep, 4 feet wide carts on wheels from one location where they were filled up with big and heavy boxes to the area where they were supposed to be offloaded and put into cargo containers for the airplanes. I was also doing additional jobs that management had either assigned to me or I'd told management that I was going to do, and they were willing to let me do it. So I was always keeping myself busy, even though I could have spent a significant amount of each day just being a slacker like other people. I was stupid, and I worked hard. There is no reward at Amazon for working hard. You work hard, you get paid the exact same amount as the laziest people in the building. You get paid the same amount, and this is specific to KCVG. You get paid the same amount as the people stealing time by hiding in the bathrooms, the break rooms, the third floor that's empty. You get the same amount no matter how hard or you do or don't work. There are no performance evaluations for lowly peons like me. There are no performance raises. You just get the same flat raises as everybody else. Every 6 months, I believe it is. Until you've been there for 3 years. I've been there for almost 2.5. And sometimes they give a cost of living raise. It's never quite enough, but it definitely is appreciated. But I'm getting off topic. So I was back at work, on my hands and knees, taping, scraping. Eventually, I stopped using the scraper because my shoulder is a mess. You know, I've been to 3 orthopedic specialists. They've all told me the same thing. Short of surgery, there's nothing we can do for you. I mean, we can give you cortisone shots. It's just a stopgap measure. It's not going to change anything ultimately, which I already knew. And they said, the second doctor had initially said PT might help, but then when after that, he had sent me back on full duty, no restrictions. And so my workers' comp case had been closed back in January. Sedgwick, the workers' comp company, had refused to pay the bill for that visit, which they had actually arranged for me as a second opinion. And I was unable to transfer due to a series of either there was nothing available or there was nothing available that met what I could do. And I wasn't even certain what department I could move into where I would not be putting my shoulder at further risk. So I continued to work. And for a while, my shoulder was okay because it was getting stronger. The time on light duty had made it get weaker. And so the exercise I was getting was making it stronger. But one day I was pushing a container along the caster deck, which is lined with lots of wheels, so that you can move a 2-ton container with one partner fairly easily, unless you're all weak. And I've seen people do it 3 or 4 at a time because they're weak or whatever. And I was pushing this can. It was only partially full. It wasn't particularly heavy. I had one hand around near the edge, holding onto the rope as I was pushing on the edge. The other hand was pushing against the side of the container, and I felt this pain that I'd never felt before in my shoulder. I told my team leader, told my manager, and at that point, I was tired of not being treated fairly by Amazon and Sedgwick. I forced the case to be reopened, forced the examiner who had never responded to me to be removed from my case. The only time she ever contacted me or did anything for me was when she, at the very beginning of the case, and it was hard to get a hold of her, and at the very end when she called up to let me know in a happy tone of voice that my case was closed. Yeah, real piece of work. And I would name her right now, except I don't want to be litigated for telling the truth. Because this country is not about truth. It's about who has the money. But her initials are GW. So GW had never done anything good for me and had closed my case and not paid the bill for the second opinion appointment that she had arranged. So I forced it open, got a new examiner assigned, got it reopened, got a third opinion. Or actually, I saw the second opinion doctor again, and he somehow his team had lost the MRI record from previously with the first doctor, and it was a mess. I'm not terribly impressed with that company. They've screwed up a few times now. And so I saw him again the Friday before last. And he said, there's nothing I can do. I mean, we can give you shots and stuff, but it's not going to help. You're medically, the only thing that's going to help now is surgery. And that's called maximum medical improvement without surgery. And that was noted in the case. And he referred me to yet another orthopedic specialist who's a surgeon. I don't really understand why, because he's also a surgeon. And that doctor did a much better physical examination of my abilities with my left and right arms, and concluded the same thing, that I needed surgery, arthroplasty on my left shoulder, and put me on restrictions or kept me on the same restrictions that the second doctor had put me on to after I reopened the case, which was no overhead lifting, no lifting more than 10 pounds, no push, pull, carry more than 10 pounds, and I believe there's something else I don't remember off the top of my head. And that was the prior to me being put on that medical leave of absence. So yeah, sucky. But so here I am, walking a lot despite an accommodations request for my feet. Bad knees, despite the fact that they know about the injuries at work that to my knees. Bad thumbs, which I've mentioned but haven't opened a case for, and bad shoulder. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing better than the other people on the team. And I'm not hearing back from the team that has to decide about my shoe request from my podiatrist. Contacted the head of HR, said, hey, what the heck is going on here? Contacted other people. Finally, last night, shortly before bedtime, I get a call from them. The guy said, so for your request for custom shoes with toe caps, you have been rejected, which I knew was going to happen, and that was fine. It's not what I wanted. That was just the doctor's recommendation. And for the custom shoes, management has declined to provide those because they would not meet the safety standards of the site. And I said, I never asked for shoes that don't meet the safety standards. I asked for Amazon to follow the policy to provide me with the shoes I need medically that meet the safety standards of the site. So I had explained this to him several times. Finally, he said, well, I'm going to contact the approver, which I think is his way of saying the case manager or examiner assigned to the case or whatever. And I will let them know, and we'll get back to you. And, oh, by the way, there's an email for you. Just ignore it. So I had not seen an email because I had been busy working on my YouTube channels, not looking at my email. So I'll get off the phone with him. I look at my email. There's not one but two. The first one says I've been rejected. So I was like, yeah, okay. That one's, he's trying to fix that. The second one says I'm on medical leave of absence. I didn't know if I was supposed to ignore that one too or not. I wrote back to the disability and leave service people, and I said, hey, this is what happened on the phone, and am I still supposed to be on leave? I need a response as soon as possible. I also wrote to the head of HR and said, hey, what the heck is going on here? What are you doing? You are either breaking the law, being unethical and immoral, or you're doing the right thing. I need to know what you're doing, and I'm tired of this, and I'm going to get a lawyer if this doesn't stop, because clearly I am being retaliated against when the management team says there's nothing for me to do, and then there is, and when the management team says they can't provide me with the shoes that by policy they should provide. So I'm very pissed because Amazon sucks. I mean, I could make an entire series about the many ways that Amazon is good and bad, but more bad than good. I could make so many videos. So now, before I went to bed, I looked at my schedule, and sure enough, I've been taken off the schedule again. So I am on forced medical leave of absence, despite the conversation with the man who called me. And I don't know how long that's going to last because this is Sunday. I don't know when the HR manager is going to actually look at the message I sent. Yeah. It's just really, 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 really irritating. So I just wanted to update you. So I'm going to take advantage of this time. I'm going to apply for temporary, or if I can, permanent disability. They've claimed, some people claim I can, some people claim I can't. They're making it as difficult as possible for me to claim permanent disability because I have a workers' comp case open. So, you know, if they don't stop screwing around, I'll get the temporary disability. I'm going to get a lawyer or 2 lawyers or 3 lawyers, however many it takes. And they'll probably take most of the money that I'll end up winning because I've got so many stories to tell. True stories about abuse, neglect, malignant behavior. Yeah. So, just wanted to let you know. I'm not asking for money or anything like that. I'm not really sure what I'm asking for at this point. Yeah. I guess I'll just play it by ear from here and pursue matters as best as I can, and hopefully I'll find a good lawyer because I've already had 3 lawyers blow me off in the past. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Right. So thank you for your attention and your time and your concern. I appreciate it. I hope this isn't going to get me into trouble for being honest about my situation publicly against a giant multinational company with so much money and yet so stingy and so unethical. Right. I better stop before I say the wrong thing if I haven't already. Thanks for watching and have a great day.